Hello you lovely lot and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mahsa and today we are going to be doing yet another TBR list that I probably won't stick to. Okay, so today we are going to be doing my TBR for the second semester, or like the autumn semester of the magical readathon. Now, I've been seeing so much about this readathon for like the last year or two that it's been happening. Have I ever taken part in it? No. Am I just gonna jump in and hope for the best? Yes, I absolutely am. So the way that this readathon works, it's set up by G over at Book Roast, I believe. I'll have the video and everything linked down below for you guys. So it's like an RPG sort of like role play kind of thing where you set up your characters and then you're at this magical university and there's 2 semesters a year where you are basically doing the courses and getting the prompts for what you want your career to be. It's explained a lot better in the video. I'll link it down below. So I haven't actually set up a character. I'm just going into this semester and doing the prompts for what I want for the month of August and hoping for the best. And depending on how this goes, I might go back and like redo all the stuff, but I just think that's going to be a lot of work. So I might not do that. I might. We don't know. But getting into the August TBR. So the career path or calling that I've decided to go down is Star Whisperer, and then you get given certain criteria that you need to reach in this semester to become a Star Whisperer or advance in the Star Whisperer career. I'm still learning as I go, but here is what we've got and here are the prompts and here's the TBR list. Okay, so the first thing that I need is an O in the art of illusion, and the prompt for that is to read without touching the floor. So basically just sitting down and like curled up on a sofa or something without touching the floor. Pretty self-explanatory. So for that, I have Heartstopper, Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. I've been dying to read the rest of the Heartstopper series, especially with the new season coming out, and I'm just really excited to read this. It's a lot chunkier than the last ones were, but I am going on holiday and I figured, do you know what? Perfect, like beach, poolside read, chilling on my sun lounger thing, and read this, and hopefully I'll get through it in one sitting and everything will be great. But it's chunkier than the others, which is becoming a theme in this TBR. I can't wait for me to read all these books, even though it's more books than I will have ever read in a singular month, but we're gonna just go with it. The next qualification that I need is a D in astronomy, which means that there's 3 separate prompts that I need to fulfill to get this qualification. Okay, so the first one is so difficult, so I've already done it because it took me so long to do, and the first one that I needed was the word in the title from the name of the last song you listened to. What that means. The last song that I listened to, any of the words from the last song I listened to have to be in the title of the book that I'm going to read. So this was very difficult. So what I was last listening to is Wildest Dreams by our queen, Taylor Swift. So what I've gone with, it's sort of similar. So Wildest is what we're going with. And I've gone with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. It's not the same spelling, but like wild and wildest. I think that's close enough. I'm happy to just go with that and have that be it. I'm really excited because this TBR is actually giving me a chance to work through some of the fairy loot books that I've got that I just like have never read for some reason. So really excited to be working through this. This has been on my TBR for such a long time. And it is about Emily Wilde, who is good at many things, and she's an expert in fairy studies, genius scholar, and meticulous researcher. She's writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore, but Emily is not good at people. She's not a people person, prefers the company of her books and her dog Shadow. So when she arrives in the village of Ransvik, that's how we're going to pronounce that. So when she arrives in the village of Ransvik, Emily has no intentions of befriending the townsfolk, nor does she care to spend time with another new arrival, her dashing, insufferably handsome academic rival. And romance and fairies will ensue. I think they end up discovering some secrets, some things are gonna come out. It sounds adorable. It just also looks so cute. This is like one of my favorite Fairy Loot editions. It's just so, so cute. So very excited for this one. Our next prompt is to read a book from a finished series, and for that one, I've gone with The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the final book in the Dreamland Billionaires series, which follows three brothers who their grandfather dies, and in order for them to get their inheritance, they each have to complete a certain task, romance ensues, etc, etc. So this follows the third brother and the final brother. I think he's the youngest one, not sure. But it follows him, and it's a second chance romance, and he's going back to the lake that they used to spend their childhoods in, and it also happens to be the same place where his old sweetheart lives. And it's a second chance romance. We can sort of see where it's gonna go. I'm really excited to read this one. I loved the second one so much. I loved the first one, but the second one I absolutely adored. And I'm excited to see where this is gonna go. I'm not huge on second chance romances. I haven't read a lot of them, so I don't really know how it's gonna go, but I'm excited to see where this is gonna go. However, for a romance, it's chunky. Like, I don't understand why a contemporary romance book needs to be almost 600 pages, but this is like hella chunky. So, rolling with it. The final prompt for the astronomy qualification that I need is to read a book with a red cover. And it is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Do I know what this is about? No. We're gonna find out together. But it says desire, obsession, and control, which looks amazing. The cover is so, like, interesting. The cover really, like, pulls me in. Edges, gorgeous, like, end paper, beautiful. But I should probably find out what it's about. I feel like it's giving like gothic autumn fall vibes, so we're starting the fall reading a little bit early, I guess. This is sort of about the wives of Dracula, which is so interesting because I had no idea that it was going to be that. So wild, I'm as surprised as anyone else. Saved from the brink of death by a mysterious stranger, Constanta is transformed from a medieval peasant into a bride fit for an undying king. But when Dracula draws a cunning aristocrat and a starving artist into his web of passion and deceit, Constanta realizes that her beloved is capable of terrible things. Finding comfort in the arms of her rival consorts, she begins to unravel their husband's dark secrets. With the lives of everyone she loves on the line, Constanta will have to choose between her own freedom and her love for her husband, but bonds forged by blood can only be broken by death. I didn't think this was gonna be like vampire Dracula vibes, but so here for it. I was correct in saying that it's definitely gonna be more of like a fall read, so I might leave this for like towards the end of August, more towards September, but I'm really excited for this. It sounds like it's gonna be great, and honestly, it's not too long, which is a miracle at this point. The next qualification that I need is an O in law, which is bookseller's recommendation. Now, I didn't really have time to like go and speak to any booksellers or do anything like that. However, there was a few booksellers on the comment section of the announcement video for this readathon, and they were recommending books to other people, and I was like, do you know what? I'll just scroll through these and pick one of the recommendations that they're giving out. And I did. So we are going for Spells for Forgetting by Adrian Young. And this was recommended to someone asking for recommendations, and I was like, I own it. Let's go with it. Another Fairy Loot edition. This TBR is very Fairy Loot heavy. I don't know how it's happened, but it has happened. So this is like a more like atmospheric, like a little bit, it is more like a fall read, honestly. I don't know how I've ended up with a lot of like fall reads, but I have. Okay, so this is about Emery, whose life was changed on the eve of her high school graduation when the love of her life, August, was accused of murdering her best friend, Lily. She always wanted to run away with August to get away from their like little small town, but after this happened, August ran away and she ended up staying in this tiny town that she lives in. Now, 14 years later, August is back to spread his mother's ashes, and the town kind of wants him gone, but she also has to confront him and why he ran away so quickly, and there's some strange things happening in the town. Things are being revealed, and we might even find out the reason behind Lily's death. So it sounds very interesting. It sounds a little bit spooky. I think it might be like a little bit supernatural in what vibes I'm getting from it, but I'm excited to read this. Again, it might be one that's going to be a little bit towards the end of August going into September, more like atmospheric, more autumnal, you know, that kind of vibe. And the final qualification that I need is a D in psionics and divinations, which means that for this one we need 3 prompts, and the first prompt for this one is random tarot card generator, and then use the tarot card to find a book which matches like symbols on the card or the vibes, that kind of thing. So I did use a random tarot generator because I don't actually have my own set of tarot cards, which is wild, but use the random tarot card generator and I got the Hermit. I'll pop a picture up for you guys. So for this one, I tried to find like the lantern or like the staff that he's holding, but ultimately I ended up going with the cloak. And for that one, we have The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This has been on my TBR for honestly years. I tried to read it a little while ago. I got this far in, and then other things happened and I've been struggling to read physical books lately, so I think that's probably why. But I am just going to restart it and reread it properly. This is about Selena and the adventures that she had before Throne of Glass. So she is the assassin, obviously, and obviously she's wearing the cloak, which is where the whole cloak on the Hermit comes from. Very excited to read this. I desperately want to advance with the series because I feel like I've been so stuck, and I think it's one of those that if I give it a real chance that I will love it, because I do love Sarah J. Maas, but I don't know why I can't get into the series. I've read Throne of Glass, I've read The Crown of Midnight. It's not that I can't get into it, I am interested, but also not enough for me to go out of my way to really spend time reading them. So I'm hoping that this'll get that going, because when I did read it the first time around, I was really enjoying it. Honestly, more than I enjoyed Throne of Glass, probably. So I really, really want to get to this. It's on the list. It's gonna happen. The next prompt is a book set in the future, and for that one, I am going with Shatter Me by Tahira Murphy, and I've never read the Shatter Me series. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I've never read the Shatter Me series. I'm aware of how incredibly popular it is. I think I've managed to avoid most spoilers. I know of characters, like things like that, but because it's so popular, I tend not to want to know a lot of things about really popular series that I haven't read yet, so I don't know too much about this. So I believe she's being held captive somewhere. I'll just read the back. A fragile teenage girl is held captive, locked in a cell by the Reestablishment, a harsh dictatorship in charge of a crumbling world. But Juliet is no ordinary teenager. One touch from her can kill... Ooh. The Reestablishment want to use her as a weapon, but Juliet has other plans. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovered the strength to fight back and to find a future with the one person she thought she'd lost forever. So I believe this is set in like a futuristic dystopian future, so I think this fits the prompt, and if it doesn't, then I'm just gonna go with it. This seems like it's set in the future, and I've been dying to get to this for so long. I think I might try and do a Shatter Me reading vlog, just because they are quite small, so I think that would be really cool, and the cover is so pretty. Very excited. And last but not least is the final prompt that we have for this TBR, and that is to read a book with either a lily on the cover, or Lily as a character, or the author, or some form of lily. And for that I have gone with The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. But as you can see, there is a lily on the front. This is one of the books that was recommended for it, and it was Fairy Loot, so I already owned it. So I'm excited to give this a go, actually, just because it's been on my TBR for so long. I can't remember if this was one of the YA books or it's one of the adult ones. I think it's one of the YA ones. So this is about a person who is the prison healer in this like death prison, sort of like death campy vibes, and they are tasked with keeping the inmates alive. One day the rebel queen arrives at the prison, and this person is given the task of keeping them alive. They are given the trial by ordeal, I think, is that what it's called? Yeah, so they are granted a trial by ordeal, which means that they have to face each element in a set of trials, and quite clearly this rebel queen isn't going to be able to do that because they are on death's door. So our prison healer steps up, and if they manage to complete these tasks, then both of them are granted their freedom. But obviously there's like a rebellion, there's all sorts of drama, things are kicking off. So I think this is going to be a really cool read. I'm excited to read this one. It's been on my TBR for a very long time. I can't even remember when I got this. Is it like 2002? 2001? Where are we? Yeah, 2001. So it's been 2 years. So this has been on my TBR for a long time. And I just really want to be able to have read some of the Fairy Loot books that I have, because I seem to be collecting them and not necessarily reading them. So if I could get some of them read, then that would be lovely. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know if you're doing the readathon. Let me know what books you're reading, or which of these books are you the most excited for me to read, because a lot of them seem to be very popular. I know that Shatter Me has a massive following, so let me know if you do want a reading vlog of me reading the series, because I think that would be so much fun to do. So thanks again for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big old thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. If you do want other ways of supporting the channel, there's affiliate links and all sorts of things down below, including my website and a cheeky little discount code for you guys. Thanks so much for watching the video again, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye!